Facebook friends, Marianne here, and I am here to give you an announcement about two different things. First of all, I want to give a huge thanks, to all of you who came through for me tonight. Thanks to all of you who participated. We are going to be able to get all 5 of those huge truckloads of donated food from Quaker Oats into Dallas communities. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's going to actually go throughout the DFW area and probably some going all the way down to the Carrizo-Kamakudo tribe as well as other places along the way. So I feel like I need to give you guys a little bit of background on what Food Source DFW is so you understand what we're doing, because that actually goes into the next thing. What Food Source DFW is we are not, first of all, a homeless shelter. We are not a food pantry. What we are is a leading initiative fighting food waste in the nation, which means that we're the intermediary between major donations to all the different food pantries and homeless shelters in an area. Our work has now taken us all the way up to helping veterans in Georgia, to Puerto Rico, to Houston, all the way down to the border, the Carrizo-Kamakudo tribe. Obviously, not just Dallas, but Fort Worth. We all over the place. We have hubs in California. We have hubs all over, just all over. And what this has allowed us to do is it keeps things from spoiling and getting to places in time in the hands of those that need it so that they can get it into hungry families. As I mentioned before, we used to feed 2,500 families a week, and that has increased within the last 4 years to 5,000 families a day. And that was before all of this craziness with the weather happened. So I just wanted to give you guys a picture of the stage that was set before the perfect storm came in. And I wanted to make sure that you all understand how it works, because we have our hub and spoke system, which was designed by the brilliant Reverend Dr. Todd Collier, as well as Brandon Buchanan, who has now moved on to other things, but I want to acknowledge his genius was also behind the design of it. I want to also thank Jackie, who is one of the administrative assistants for Reverend Todd Collier. They help make this happen. They make the magic happen. And we are now going to be able to, because of the uniqueness and streamline aspect of that system, we're going to be able to expand it, because when you have, think of a wheel, when you have a hub and spoke system, it's very easy to add more spokes onto that center, which means that we're going to be able to expand what needs to happen in a fast way in all the major cities throughout the state. And to help make that happen, we have, again, Philip Chow, who went out of his way to give me a call and say, how can I help? And we have Moses Boyd, who went out of his way to also call me last night after I posted that last video to say, how can I help? The two of them are working together to come up with a list of major donors and linking them with the people who need the most help. So what they're going to be doing is relying on us to be what we already do, which is the recipient and the distribution center to all the grassroots people. We're talking about the people that are really on the ground, going into the houses, helping people. We're talking about people like Reverend Peter Johnson, who was out there, even though he himself is in his 80s, and he's pushing, elders in their wheelchairs, getting them over to where it's warm. We're talking about people like Duran Shockley and Marcus Russell, who are out there doing such incredible work with commissary is very necessary in getting things to the people. We're talking about people that are really doing the work in all the neighborhoods, going door to door, knocking, saying, are you okay? Are you all right? And with that in mind, I want to invite all of you to go out of your way and talk to the elders that you know. Even if your elders that you're aware of and connected to technically are doing fine, say they do have running water and they do have electricity and they are staying warm, just to get a phone call and know they're being checked in on, it goes a long way, especially during these times. Right now, we need empathy and compassion and connectedness more than ever. I keep seeing people post all this stuff about Ted Cruz went down to Mexico. You know what? Right now, leadership is not necessarily something that we need to wait and get from the top. Don't wait for the politicians to give you leadership. We do have amazing politicians, Victoria Neve, Retta Bowers, they're doing wonderful things. We have young people like Devontae Peters, who's out there, going on the streets and helping people. We have wonderful politicians, leaders, but it does not take a title, an official office holding position, to take a stand and rise and become the leaders you want to see. If you look around, you say, no one's doing this, then that means you need to step in. So that's exactly what Philip Chow gave me a call. He doesn't even live in Texas. That's why Moses Boyd called. He doesn't even live in Texas. So they're helping us to come through because we're all Americans and we need to count on each other. And as Texans, I want to thank all those of you that helped us today. So I'm going to go through this. But before I do, I'm just going to let you know that what I just described, we're taking statewide, and I really want to thank Chelsea Toler down in Austin, who's agreed to be our main person down there, disseminating the resources throughout Austin. We're going to be doing the same thing in San Antonio and Houston with different people, and we're also, of course, already in the process of doing it up here in the Dallas area, and we do have hub and spokes in Laredo and other places too. So anyway, without more ado, I want to thank all of you one by one. If I missed someone, I sincerely apologize, but I'm going to attempt to thank everybody who helped made it possible to bring those 5 trucks from Quaker Oats into Dallas today. And that is Christian Iles. Thank you for going out of your way and putting it on your page and, and tagging all these different people to let them know that this needed to happen. Thank you, Charles Ward. Thank you, Joe Pacetti. Thank you, Steve Kemble, for responding to his call. Thank you, Alan Keith, for stepping forward. Thank you, April Davis out in Fort Worth. Thank you, Angela Buchanan from Chicago. We appreciate you. You guys know snow. Thank you, Gina Grant. She gave a huge amount of $500. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Every single cent goes into being a piece, food and somebody who's hungry right now. Donna Anderson, Collins, Yamini, thank you so much. She not only donated to us, she is going out of her way tomorrow and driving over the icy roads to deliver some of her jams and jellies. If you guys haven't tried it, she has an incredible, the Jelly Queen's jelly and jams. They're delicious. Right now, people look at flavor as kind of a luxury item, but for her to go out of her way and risk driving on those roads just to give people a little reason to perk up and have some enjoyment by having some added flavor through her wonderful creations, that is just such a beautiful thing. So thank you, Donna, for that. David Call, thank you so much. Tamara DeSanchez, I want to thank you so much for you and your husband going out of your way to make a donation. I did read what you wrote. I know that you're dealing without electricity, your water's not working, you guys are freezing, and yet you went out of your way to help people. To me, that's so touching. It's easy when somebody feels like they have expendable income, but when your back's against the wall and you're struggling and you're still thinking of others, that speaks for a special kind of heart. So thank you, Tamara. Yolonda Bluehorse, I want to thank you so much because Yolonda worked really hard for 3 years with this vision to try and pull together a powwow for the Native Americans in the DFW area. She dreamed and wanted this so bad. She finally got the grant. And when it wasn't good, all this stuff started happening with the pandemic and now this freeze, she took the own initiative to go back to the people that gave her the grant and is currently negotiating to try and redirect those funds to get it into hungry people's plates. And one of those will be the Carrizo-Kamakudo tribe of Texas. So it is going to still help some of the Native American families. So thank you so much, Yolanda, for being so selfless about that. That's not an easy thing to do when you want something and you get it and then you are willing to sacrifice it to do something that can make a difference in other people's lives. So I see that, respect that, appreciate it so much, truly. Want to thank Ruby Dickerson down in Joppy. She is incredible. She has been supportive of the Mimnazine Institute since we began our Juneteenth outreach event. Many of you don't know we've had the largest interfaith, intercultural, interracial Juneteenth outreach in the Dallas area. And I think maybe it's the largest one in Texas with all those qualities for a while. And it began down in Joppy with Bishop McGriff and Reverend Karen Hawley. And it has just grown. But Ruby, you've been there since the beginning. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for caring. Yvette Grovely, I really want to thank you for going out of your way and sharing all this with your contacts. Thank you. Zahera and Sulaiman, Hemani, you are the reason why we made the amount tonight. They came through with $500 and really made a huge difference to help us get through that. Tina Hui, I want to thank you. Again, somebody else from out of the state. Both she and Sulaiman Hemani are on our board of directors at the Mimnazine Institute. Thank you, thank you, thank you for going out of your way to help us. us. Michelle Cook, an incredible advocate for Native American human rights, travels the world negotiating, and whose name is something that many corporations who practice inhumane, unethical practices fear. She is a dynamo. And thank you, Michelle Cook. It's one thing to advocate for just one's own demographic. It's another thing that really makes you, in my mind, a humanitarian when you advocate for all sorts of demographics. And you really did that tonight. So thank you so much. Lisa Endicott, I think you were the first person to really respond to what we were doing. And I want to thank you. So all of these people, if I miss somebody, please know it's not on purpose. Every one of you made such a difference today, and I want to thank you. And again, we're very excited because we are working with some wonderful people to take this effort across the state. And we know, and I want to thank Retta Bowers, who spoke with me tonight. She has gone out of her way to try and help us identify areas and things that really need to be addressed. We're going to be beginning the preliminary aspect of it in terms of organization in the next few days. And again, Philip Chow, thank you. Moses Boyd, thank you for connecting the needs with the interested parties who might donate. So if this works out, I'm praying to God this can make a huge difference across the state. And it is going to be because of each and every single one of you that cares. And again, all of you, I know we hear things on the news. I know people talk about Ted Cruz went to Mexico and all that. Please remember, you are the leaders. You don't have to have a title. If you don't see something being done that desperately needs to be done, then that's the invitation of the universe, creator, God, spirit saying, come and do it, because that's how we get through this. This is an opportunity for you to embrace your own leadership. We do not have to wait on the politicians to lead this and to address all these problems. We need to come together, and maybe on a spiritual basis, that's a little bit of why we're being given such a struggling, frustrating time, because right now we can't be concerned on who's conservative or progressive or moderate, who's Republican or Democrat, who is brown, who is black, who is white, who is Asian, who's Native American, who's LGBT, who's straight. Right now, all we can care about is our people working to help people. That's the invitation we're being given in the universe right now. And I want to thank all of you who have risen up to answer that invitation, have said, I care, I have compassion, you matter, even if you're a stranger far different from me, because that's how we're going to get through this. So love to all. I'm very excited about how we're going to be able to work together to address these challenges that are right on top of us. And let's take away from this a little bit of hope, because if we can remember how we are all coming together, we as Texans can use that to motivate ourselves to rebuild our society from the inside out into something that can help many, many people generations down the line. So think of this as an opportunity. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for everything that you guys are doing. Look forward to talking to you all soon, and continue to reach out to each other. Continue to lead this. We are making a difference together. Love to all.